All right, welcome into another Dooley Noted Podcast. We appreciate you guys clicking on. Today we're going to have Jeff Cardozo talk a little Gator baseball. Last time we had him on, we actually had him on as an emergency, and then after like 3 minutes, the person who we didn't think we were going to get called, I think it was Lewis Murphy, and so we kind of cut him short. It was like in the old days of the Tonight Show when George Goebbels would be on, and then all of a sudden Sinatra would walk out, and so his time was shot. So we wanted to make sure we talked to him as we go forward now with Florida. Obviously, huge series. Well, everything's huge now with the series against Georgia and then the series against Arkansas to finish out the regular season, and then right to we don't know when they're going to be playing in Hoover at the SEC tournament. So we'll talk about that going forward, and of course. We'll get into some other things, and we're also going to bring on Robbie Andreu, which we always have Robbie on about once every 3 weeks or so. Brought to you by Dr. Lauren Carpenter, who does a great job down at Ocala Dentistry. We'll have her on as well. We'll get to all the great things that we do. Another Dooley Noted Podcast presented by Titan MRI, sponsors of the Bob Dooley Invitational, and by ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Almost forgot my blue thing. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube, and or watch us on that, and then listen on Apple Podcast. I said that like I was from Wisconsin. With Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Overcast, any of the 39 platforms where you can find your this or any other of your favorite podcasts. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss one. So we'll get into, eventually we will get to the Gator of the Week. We will get to the Leonardo's and Millhopper quick picks. We'll get to, Fridays are always a big day. We have the Three Things by Hand Law to get to, the This, That, and the Other, sponsored by Ballyhoo, Darshackow, and Ironwood. The Friday Football Fix, still unsponsored. Let's go, guys. I'll make you a good deal. I want to get Friday Football Fix sponsored. I don't want to just have to get rid of it. And obviously, we are. It's an exciting time this weekend with the tournament coming up, and it's really a kind of a melancholy time. They've done some wonderful things to remember my dad. This is kind of a celebration of his life too. On Saturday out at Ironwood, including, Jeff's got a sign out there already about this is Bob Week, and the bid sheets are all gonna have little pictures of my dad on them. So. They made me kind of tear up a little bit sometimes, but I appreciate it so much for everybody and all the work and all the amazing things that people have done. Freddie and Coach Spurrier donating what I think is going to be a huge prize for us. So many people. Was just at Mealy Pops the other day. They gave us several things that are going to go, I think, for a lot of money as well. And again, everything we do is for Stop Children's Cancer. So all we're doing is saying, here's money. Give it to me. Here it is to you. In fact, I never see most of it except for the entry fees. And then we have to pay for some things like, hats and stuff like that. Hats are sweet, especially, and I want to especially thank, of course, our title sponsors, who are both sponsors here and really close friends of mine. Leonardo's at Millhopper with Kyle Cohen. And Joe Calorio over at Titan MRI, who is he's done an incredible job with everything this year, getting things done and making it right, making it special. It's going to be a fun day, I hope. I think the weather's going to be really good too, which is why, I became an amateur meteorologist a couple of years ago, and it drives my wife crazy because I'll come in and go, honey, there's a storm coming. You might want to batten down the hatches. Like she's going to do anything. There's a storm coming. Okay, big deal. I'll sleep through it. But I picked May as my time, early May, and then I had to wait until the baseball schedule was up before we knew when we could have it. So it's going to work out, I think. All right, so it is my great pleasure to be joined by Mr. 41, Mr. Baseball, as I like to call him, the great Jeff Cardozo. Of course, you know him from his pitching days. You know him from all the great work he does on Gator Vision and of course, on the tailgate with me, which I don't think he's known for. But, and of course, for the great work he does out at Ironwood Golf Course. Jeff, let's talk a little baseball. How are you?
I can't be Mr. Baseball without the Tom Selleck mustache, though.
And you don't have that.
And I don't have that.
Neither one of us do. Yeah.
No.
It is a great mustache. Hey, first of all, my first question to you is, what the hell happened Tuesday night?
Yeah, they didn't show up, at least after the rain delay. The buses got there, but I'm not sure if mentally they got there the rest of the way. And I think, you see that a lot with midweek games, especially it's the last one of the year. They had to go on the road. It's a 2-hour bus ride to Stetson. You just come off this great emotional couple of games against Kentucky. And, I think certainly you have a letdown. And they didn't swing the bats all that well. There were way too many pop-ups. And, even as bad as you are at baseball, you can catch a pop-up as opposed to a ground ball. So much easier to catch pop-ups. And they hit a lot of them and just didn't do all that well. They pitched well. Sproat got his first career start. He went 4 innings, really good. And we had a couple other guys do their thing. But then right at the end again, we saw a couple of guys that haven't been able to put it together. It was sort of the same old story. And I think that's what's really hard. But the good part is, Pat, is Sully's understanding who he can trust and who he can't trust. And that's what these midweek games are for. And I think he's realized now, okay, there's 2 or 3 guys that I can't put in key situations. And if I do, they're probably not going to do good. So I'm going to have to stick with those guys and hopefully be good this weekend and next weekend.
Yeah, and obviously he's run out of time to figure anything out because you're at the point now where not only do you need to have a good last 2 weekends to make sure you host and you have an outside shot of being a national seed. But that when this team has been, and they haven't been many games when they haven't been able to hit. There have been a couple here and there, but that always seems to be the problem. Our pop-ups, and I think it's because, again, they're all trying to hit home runs.
Well, I mean, that's, I think, what we've seen now in Major League Baseball and what it's turned into. It's aggravating. I'm watching last night a Major League Baseball game, and Yasmani Grandal comes up. I don't know if you remember him, but he's a Hurricane, so I don't like him anyway, so I'm hoping he does bad. And then they flash his batting average up, and it's 138. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then you look at the overall Major League average, it's 231 for the first month of the season. So that's just what it's becoming. And nobody seems to care anymore. I think it gets frustrating, but at the collegiate level, you still need to be able to hit. And these guys can hit. So I think that was just a fluke. Again, it was a game they didn't really get up for mentally because you look at the 16 games before that, they got double digits in 13 of them. So they had really been swinging it well. You've got Judd Fabian that's starting to figure things out. Jacob Young at the top of the order still leads the league in runs scored. So they're getting in. Kirby McMullen is hitting 14 of the last 15 games. So they've got some guys that know what they're doing, but you can't have a game where everybody just doesn't and like that. And that's what we saw at Stetson.
Well, and that's the thing. And you and I talked about this a little bit the other day, Jeff. I don't know whether to invest a whole lot into this team. You know what I mean? Like your emotions, like they could go to and through, or they could go to Omaha. And neither one would surprise me.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. It's just who's going to pitch well that day. And, I think Mason, his last couple of SEC starts, has really solidified the number 1 spot again. And Sully's actually going to move him back to Friday night this weekend. And Hunter Barco's been really, really good the last 2 outings. I talked to him the other day and I said, Hunter, is that the best that your curveball has ever been? And he said, yeah, I think so. From what we saw up in Kentucky. I mean, he was lights out after Kentucky had pounded out a whole bunch of hits against Mason Alimon the first 2 days. So he really is starting to pitch well. He'll move to Saturdays, and then Alimon is going to go to Sundays, which I think that's a better role for him. Then he's not necessarily facing the team's number 1 guy. Mentally, he doesn't have to get as built up for it, and he can just go out and do his thing. And he's been really, really good other than like 1 inning. It's like you on the golf course. You're really good for about 8 holes, and then you triple bogey on 9, and then all of a sudden your front 9 is all messed up. So that's Alimon. If he can correct that 1 bad inning, and then I think he's got a chance to be legit as well.
No, my problem on the golf course is I have 1 bad shot per hole.
Oh, okay.
The other shots are great. Pound a drive, hit a good wedge, shank the chip, those things just happen. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be, the other thing with Alimon is pitching him third is now you know exactly what you have in terms of arms, coming out of the bullpen. So you could even go, all right, he walked 3 in a row in the second inning. I'm yanking him because I've got guys that are rested. If you don't have guys that are rested, you just say, okay, we're gonna have to stick with him no matter what. And in the first game, when you're starting the first game, it's hard to make that yank because you don't know how the rest of the series is going to go.
No, you're right. You sound like a baseball professional right there. But also part of that is he's able to sit there with a clipboard for 2 days and watch how you get other guys out. So, I think with Alimon, he doesn't necessarily have that third pitch. So you have to say, okay, well, this guy's susceptible to this pitch on the outer part of the plate, or maybe I can run a fastball in under his hands, which he can certainly do. So by seeing the first couple of times through the order and now being able to understand what these guys are doing, that can make him more effective on Sunday as well.
This Georgia team, it seems like they're always knocking somebody off, and yet they're still under 500 in the league. They don't have great hitting. I think they're 10th in the league in hitting, but they're 4th in pitching. They've got some good arms. I mean, what kind of challenge do they present for Florida starting tonight?
Yeah, that's it. You have to go out and you obviously got to score a little bit against a pretty good pitching staff. But the back end's not anything special. So I think if Florida can jump on some guys early, then they've got a chance to do a lot of damage. And it's amazing. Florida's obviously struggled on the road this year, but so many teams do. There's not a lot of teams that can come into a place and be successful. And I think more fans are now going to be there. I know that I think the ticket sales are pretty tremendous for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Everybody wants to be there the last weekend at the home ballpark. So start to get on those guys a little bit. And I'm not sure if Georgia can handle it. And I think that's going to be the big key. So if you're coming to the ballpark this weekend, yell and scream and have fun, do it in a polite way, but get on those guys. And I'm not sure if they can handle it. Remember, they're coming to the Florida ballpark for the first time. Nobody's ever played on this setting before. So I think that's what you have to do. And then Mace just has to be good, and he's got it in him. He's been really good at home a lot. Marco's got to continue doing his thing, and then hopefully those guys can go 6-7 innings. And then if they do that, then what you're talking about, then you can maybe have Scott for 4 innings behind Alimon on Sunday if that's what you need, and you don't have to use them. And you can just go to Mace to Leftwich or Barco to Leftwich, and because there's not a lot of arms you can trust, as you know that. Mm-hmm. So just to me, the whole key about this weekend and moving forward, Florida's starters have to go 7 innings, if not 6, at least 7. And the hard part about that is, Pat, defensively, Florida's still struggling. So let's just say it's a ball up the middle to the shortstop. I don't know if he has the range like we've seen from some of the shortstops in the past for Florida. So where before that ball might be an out and gets fielded, well, now it's into center field. So it's a base hit. It's not going to be an error, but Florida makes routine plays. They're just not making the spectacular plays. And I think that's adding more pitches now to the pitchers. They're now able to go longer in games because of that. And I think that's part of the issue that Florida's having this year. It's just because they don't field it as well as a lot of these championship teams that go to Omaha have been able to.
Who, in your opinion, is the best shortstop Florida's ever had? As far as just defensively, don't worry about hitting, power or anything, but the best defensive shortstop.
Yeah, I might have to say Dalton Guthrie in that one.
I would go with that too. You talk about making spectacular plays.
Yeah, and speaking of Georgia, he had back-to-back innings where he made just these 2 spectacular plays up in Athens that I'll never forget. I mean, it's one of those where you're like, you almost wanted to curse on the air. It was so good. Like, that's how spectacular he was. But I mean, there's been so many good ones. I mean, Justin Torrey was really, really good. He couldn't hit a lick, but I mean, heck, the Gators go to the finals of the College World Series when he was roaming shortstop. So you need to have that good shortstop. And, Sully, he's tried Carrion there. He's tried Rivera there. Carrion's a better defender, but Carrion can't really hit. So anxious to see what's going to happen when, kind of the game's on the line or judging the game, who you're going to put in, who you're not going to put in. It's that's why I think this is one of the best jobs that he's ever done. I mean, he's gotten a lot of teams to Omaha, Kevin O'Sullivan I'm talking about, but when you look at all the obstacles and the hiccups and the things he's had to deal with and a couple of arms getting hurt in the bullpen that should have been there, it's just, it's pretty good on how he's been able to kind of maneuver his way through this entire season.
One thing we talked about on the tailgate the other day, and you were talking about it, because I don't know what the reason is, but there seems to be a lot more chippiness this year in college baseball, and it's not just between Florida and other teams, and we see it all over the place. And I'm trying to think of the reason. I'm trying to think if it's related to the only playing 16, 17 games last year, or because guys now are fifth-year seniors, which you usually don't have in college baseball. I mean, what's your take on that?
Yeah, no, I think the college game is becoming more fun. Like, I know we've talked so many times over the years about, how you have these, rules that are not necessarily written down. You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do that. Well, that then took fun away from baseball, but it's becoming fun again. When you see Fernando Tatis up there for the Padres doing his thing, and, he's having a good time and celebrating and goofing off in the dugout and they're dancing. Well, if that happens against you, that kind of pisses you off. So then you're going to now start to talk some smack on the other side. You're going to get upset, but it gives you an edge. And when things are going well, you're certainly doing that. But then when it goes against you, now those guys are going to get ticked off on the other side. So like Vandy was a great example a couple of weeks ago. Vandy guy hits a home run. Florida hasn't done it all year, but the Vandy guy stomps on home plate and they yell like, "Ooh," or something. So then Judd Fabian, guess what? He hits a home run. So he's going to run around the bases. He's going to do the same thing. Now the Gator guys do it. So then Vandy's getting all ticked off on the other side. So I think that's where you have to look at it. It's just, it's fun. Like guys are bat flipping. Guys are doing different things that you didn't get away with in the past where then you wouldn't be able to talk smack. So now that they are, it's fun. I don't mind it. I don't mind the stare down sometimes because you have to have that edge. And if you don't have that edge, well, the team that's doing it is going to be able to do that, and that's going to make them more successful.
Did you like that left, which Michael Jordan shrugged the other day?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny, just because it pissed off Kentucky enough. So now if it happens on the other side, then maybe not so much. But yeah, it's something like that. But Kentucky was talking a lot. They were doing a lot of things over there, and you could hear it. And then, why not? It's not like you were sitting there calling him a bad name or something. So you just stick it up there and say, hey, what you got for me now? And that's exactly what he had.
Jeff, always great talking to you. I feel like I talked to you always. I haven't been talking to you a lot lately because you've been on the road so much, and you're about to go on the road again. But I'll be seeing a lot of you this weekend, I would think. Yes, you will. Yeah, hopefully everything goes smooth Friday night for baseball and your thing, and then on Saturday we'll have a really good, fun day raising a lot of money for Stop Children's Cancer. And then if the Gators can go out and win like 17-1 or something, it'll just cap it off and be certainly special. Yeah, I really should go to the game Sunday. It'd be a nice way to unwind after the golf tournament. Can you get tickets? Do you have any connections? Maybe. If not, I could sneak you in the back door. There we go. Jeff Cardozo, thank you so much, buddy. Right, we have to take a break, and we will come back with Robbie Andreu going to join us. We'll talk a little Emory Jones with him, and of course, we have all of our great things that we love to do. Leonardo's at Millhopper Quick Picks. We've got the Gator of the Week. You're not going to be surprised in this one. Well, maybe you will be. Friday Football Fix, this, that, and the other. And, of course, the Three Things presented by Hand Law. All of that coming up and more. And Robbie Andreu here on Another Dooley Noted Podcast. You can get your favorite alcoholic brands from ABC Fine Wine and Spirits delivered right to your door. ABC Delivers is available in Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, and all of the Southeast Florida. Earn ABC points for coupons and free bottles through abcdelivers.com. It's powered by FedEx Same Day City, and you're going to love the price. Free with a $50 purchase for the first 7 miles. So wine, spirits, beer, and everything you need to celebrate. Get it delivered. Shop abcdelivers.com. Thanks so much to our title sponsors, ABC Fine Wine and Spirits and Titan MRI, and to our pick sponsor, Leonardo's of Millhopper. You can find us live on Facebook and YouTube, or listen at your leisure on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you find all your favorite podcasts. I'm excited to continue this podcast and to have your company on board as a sponsor. If you're interested in being part of the show, email me at patrickdooley54@gmail.com. quarterbackclub.com or give me a call, 352-317-3444. This is Pat Dooley, and I want to tell you about my friends at the Gainesville Quarterback Club. I'm a member, and you should be too. It's the oldest Gator booster club in the world and a great place to meet new friends, network with prominent business people, and hear a great collection of speakers, including Dan Mullen, throughout the football season. Go ahead and give John Stevens a call at 352-222-8516 or sign up on the website, quarterbackclub.org.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
All right, and welcome back to another Duly Noted podcast. It's always a pleasure to be joined by Robbie Andreu. Of course, his appearances are brought to you by Dr. Lauren Cartwright, Ocala Dentistry down in Ocala, and does a great job down there. We appreciate her very much for sponsoring Robbie's segments, and appreciate Robbie coming in. It's been it's kind of an interesting time, Robbie. I know you're fired up about playing golf Saturday.
Yeah, I am, Pat. I haven't really played. I've played once in the last 3 years with you guys and didn't play so well. But
you played okay that day for a guy who hadn't played in that long.
yeah, I hadn't played in 3 years. But now it's a scramble, so there's no pressure.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying?
There's pressure to finish first in the second flight.
Or the third. You have a third flight? Maybe we can go for that.
I'm not even sure there is a third flight. But yeah, I wanted to talk to Robbie about several things, including, we talk all the time about Florida, and I've been thinking a lot about Emory Jones and the way it almost feels like we're getting that, Tebow post his career effect where the opinions go like this are all over the place about him. I mean, we see where some people say maybe a first-round pick. And I'm like, have you watched him play at all? Do you even know what he can do? We don't know what he's going to do as a starting quarterback.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me, Pat, of Jameis Winston at FSU before he had played. And somebody goes, well, he's going to be a Heisman candidate. I'm thinking, wait a minute, he hadn't played yet. But people around him, and I'm talking about Emory, have seen what he can do in practice. They know the capability of him and Dan Mullen's offense. And I think they realize that he has the talent to be something really special. Now, can he translate it to the field?
Yeah.
I mean, he's never shown an ability to convert a 3rd and 8 throwing the ball, right?
Exactly.
It's mainly, can he throw the ball when he has to?
He might have had one against Auburn.
Yeah.
Remember that game 2 years ago?
Yeah.
When Trask got hurt and he came in.
Yeah.
We all thought Trask was done for the year.
Yeah, I know.
They came
it
back
looked
in
bad.
The game. Yeah.
But you have to wonder, if he has to throw, is he going to be able to do it? Or is he going to have to scramble out of there and try to make it with his legs? So that's the big question with him that we don't know. But I think Mullen has an idea what he can do. So.
But, another question that we don't know, and I don't even think Dan Mullen knows, I'm not even sure Emory Jones knows, is how he's going to respond under pressure.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Or how is he going to respond to a pick six? I mean, Trask, you saw what he did against Georgia. Pick six.
Calm.
Boom, 2 plays, touchdown down the field.
Well, yeah, it's all unknowns with him, Pat, because the intangibles you don't find out until you're the regular quarterback, and he hadn't been that yet. So. Yeah,
no, and that's one thing I'm really curious to see is how much of a leader are you? Are you, you're not going to be the same kind of leader Kyle Trask was. You certainly not going to be the same leader Tim Tebow was. You're not going to run in there and start screaming at halftime about we're going to take that ball down the field. We're going to kick it. We're going to run it.
Yeah.
What was the Gipper? The Canute Rockney?
Canute Rockney win one for the Gipper?
No, when he was doing that, we're going to go. We're going to
hit him harder. We're going to hit him hard.
I'm waiting for maybe he can do that kind of speech.
But Pat, the vibe I get from seeing on Twitter and social media, the players love him. And I think that he's already become a real leader for them. And how he does it on the field in games, we'll find out soon enough.
And I think, too, one reason is they've been around this guy for a long time.
Yeah.
And he's come in and has played in some games that were the game was on the line a couple of times when he's been in. And even when he came in just to run one play, so the game was on the line. So they've been to war with him. They've been to battle, and they know him. And they also know that if Emory Jones is a really good player this year, they've got a chance to do some great things. The rest of the roster's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think the defense will be better, Pat. But, Mullen has to be really excited because he has got the quarterback now. He wants a guy that can run and throw.
Right.
And, he can take a throwing quarterback like Trask have a big year, a Heisman finalist. But to him, his offense is based around a dual threat quarterback, and now he's got one. I think he's very excited about the possibilities now.
Yeah, it's weird because it is about that. At the same time, you're not going to have another Tebow. You're not going to have another guy who's 245 pounds running up in there. I mean, Emory Jones, there were times, though, last year where he would run the ball and he'd get 2 and they needed 1, and you'd go, okay, that's first down, and then he'd get 2 more.
Yeah, or 5 more.
Yeah, he was running, I don't want to say running over people, but he was banging off people. So
and he's explosive, Pat. I mean, he can make big plays.
Boy, those are the kind of things I want to see. Like, I think we're all curious how it's all going to work out with him and if it's going to be a special season. Like, I saw somebody ask you the question, chances Emory Jones will be back next year. I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
We don't know if he'll make it through the year.
He may be in the transfer portal after next year.
But the thing is, Pat, when he was in the games last year, the running game was better.
Yep.
So the running game is going to be better with him being the quarterback.
And in theory, that brings up the people,
play action passes.
Yeah, so you go over the top of them. That is the way you want to run it, where you get so obsessed with watching that quarterback and what's he doing? Is he running a read option now? Is he running a power play like Tebow used to run? How many times am I going to mention Tebow today?
Probably several more times.
Okay, all right, but anyway.
Yeah, I know.
But that was Florida football at its. I don't want to say it was its peaks. To me, 96 was its peak.
Yeah.
But it was a great Florida football team, obviously in 08, and but that was when the offense was unstoppable.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seemed like they go up and down the field and do whatever they wanted with it.
But Pat, if Mullen can have a one-dimensional offense like last year and be as good as they were, what are the possibilities of having a guy that is going to give you a two-dimensional offense or more?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, now you've got options.
See, that's the thing. I mean, if you were going to rank the quarterbacks in the SEC, you'd probably go Matt Corral first.
Yeah.
Think about that. But, and then I don't know who you'd go second.
The Georgia kid, he's getting a lot of love.
JT Daniels is getting a lot of love, but he's played 4 games.
Yeah.
And I mean, Emory might be third.
I'm not sold on that kid yet. Not yet.
A lot of people are. It's funny because I was listening to Rick Neuheisel the other day, and he was saying, pump the brakes on this guy.
Yeah. We
don't know if he's going to be any good. He got beaten out by Slovis out of USC.
I know.
So we'll see how good he is. But Emory'd probably be number 3. I'm just trying to think. I mean,
he's way up there now because there aren't that many.
Yeah. Do you know who Alabama's even starter is going to be? Is it going to be Bryce Young? Is it going to be somebody else?
I think it's going to be Bryce Young if you listen to the people out there. And they're definitely in love with him. But like with Jones, he hadn't done it yet.
No.
And he's going to have a tough opener against Miami. I think that'll be interesting to see.
It will be. And Tennessee, I have no idea who their quarterback's going to be.
Maybe the kid from Ocala. Maurer, is that his name?
Yeah, could be Maurer. Could be Kentucky. I don't know. Gatewood, I guess, is going to be a quarterback. Doesn't scare anybody.
Again, he's unproven.
Yeah. It's just, like we had this.
The Vandy QB, I can't remember his name, but he was really pretty good last year.
Yeah, he wasn't bad.
He lit Florida up in the first half.
I'm trying to remember his name, too.
But then everybody lit Florida up in the passing game.
Well, and then we're going to shift. So we're going to shift over to defense here a little bit. And I did a thing for Gators Wire on why Florida's defense will be better. But we know it's going to be better. It can't be as bad as it was. It was historically bad last year. But my question is not, will it be better? My question is, will it be good? And that's what I don't know yet.
Yeah. I agree, Pat. They will be better, but it's got to be appreciably better or it's not going to be that much of a difference.
Right.
I mean, you need to get back to the way they were playing a couple of years ago. And I think they're going to be better up front on the line. And to me, the depth of linebackers is kind of a potential issue. And they've got all these talented kids in the secondary that, and I think if they're coached up right, they're going to be a lot better back there. And that was the big problem last year, covering people.
Yeah, I don't know if it was coaching or COVID.
Well, the coach of that area left, both of them.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I think coaching was a huge part of it, and I think Grantham and Mullen addressed that by removing those guys and coming up with the guys they feel are a better fit.
Yeah, that's part of the reason they got removed.
Yeah.
You also can't show kids around.
No.
that are not supposed to be on your campus. Yeah. But I mean, it's going to be. I think that secondary is another one of those. Like that's to me is this Florida team. This Florida team, I think, has a higher ceiling than a lot of people think, but the floor is still pretty low.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about the difference between 11-1 and 7-5.
Yeah.
I don't think they can do worse than 7-5, especially because they have a soft non-conference schedule.
But you've got an unproven quarterback, Pat, and with a lot of potential, but the schedule's kind of tough, too. I mean, you play Alabama, Kentucky on the road. They're supposed to be a lot better, apparently, so we'll see.
Well, I listed my 4 biggest games, and I didn't put Alabama on there because I'm like, to me, beating Alabama would be gravy. You know, I mean, it would be cake. I mean, it would be like, oh my gosh, they beat Alabama.
Yeah.
But if you lose to Alabama, it's not the end of the world.
No, it's not. You might face
lose
them
to
again.
Georgia or Kentucky.
Yeah, then you're in trouble because you're not going to go to Atlanta. Probably.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens there. All right, we will. I tell you what we'll do. We'll do one thing, and then we'll take a break, and we'll come back with more of Robbie Andreu. And I know Robbie wants to get to this, that, and the other, his favorite segment.
Oh, yeah.
But first, we are going to do the Gator of the Week. So I know. So
here you go.
The Adams Ribco to go Gator of the Week. We were over there. Evan and I were over there yesterday. Shot a commercial. I think it's going to turn out really good. I hope Adam likes it as well. I have been in there a couple times to eat to get that to go. Well, a couple hundred.
Okay,
but
that's more.
No, I mean it is really a cool place that they've done there. I think Evan was surprised at how nice it was. They've got merchandise and everything in there that's really neat. He's got a smoker he built in there, and the flue goes up, so
that's cool.
He's fine. So we hope they have great success. We hope all of our sponsors have great success. But the Adams Ribco Gator of the Week is Tim Tebow. So
he's all over the place.
I can't. It's like you can't help it. Every show I talk to, there was, on Sirius when I'm flipping around and you see. They have a headline for what they're talking about. It was like Tim Tebow is back! Exclamation point!
It's unbelievable.
And the hate is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give him some love because he's getting so much hate out there. He's done nothing wrong, of course, but people just lose their minds and he's taken away a roster spot. This is what's wrong with the NFL. Colin Kaepernick can't get a shot. He can't. What has he done wrong? He hasn't done anything wrong.
Yeah. You know what it is, though, Pat, with the negative stuff? I think Tebow fatigue was setting in near the end of his NFL career and accelerated during his baseball thing. And I think now, oh no, not back again. I think it's Tebow fatigue a little bit from the negative side of things.
And
what's wrong with giving a guy a chance to see what he can do? It would be. I think Meyer is fired up about it.
And not only that, but I've heard some people. I heard some guys from the NFL who played in the NFL say, "Look, every coach has always had his guys he wants to bring with him. Spurrier did it at Washington.
Absolutely.
Chip Kelly did it with Philadelphia. It didn't work out. He got like 8 former Oregon players were on the roster there. And if this is Tebow, this is Meyer. He may take a little of the pressure away from Trevor Lawrence because everybody's going to worry about Tebow. But B, when Trevor Lawrence has a problem, a question about the offense, he can come to Tim.
I know.
You can't ask for a better. This could be a step towards getting him into the coaching profession. So,
and Meyer knows what an impact Tebow has in the locker room, on the practice field, as a leader. I don't think he's going to be a leader when he goes in there. He's looking for a roster spot. But what he brings to a locker room, I think, is something that Meyer is looking forward to see how that plays out.
But he doesn't have to be the rah-rah guy.
No, he doesn't.
He just got to be,
kind of a rock.
Pull a guy aside or do something like that. But
here's what your coach is asking of you here.
The other thing that drives me crazy is people are losing their minds. Tebow, he hadn't made any teams yet, okay? In fact, I don't think he's even been signed.
I don't think that has officially happened either. So,
but I mean, he's not. They have 90 guys on the roster when they start OTAs, okay? 90 guys, 53 play on the team, and even those guys get switched out often during a season. But he's not even. He's
got a long way to go before he's playing in the NFL again
to make the team. However, I do know this. I didn't realize this. He needs 3 games in the NFL to qualify for his pension.
Oh.
So maybe that's part of it as well. But then I started thinking about that, and I'm like, Tebow doesn't need any money.
No.
He can make money wherever he wants. Whatever he wants to do, he can make money at. So all he's got to do walk into any bank in Gainesville and go, hey, can I be your spokesman? Coach Spurrier, get out of the way.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
Here's $1 million. Okay, good.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we'll take a break. We'll come back with more Robbie Andreu. 3 things are coming up from Hand Law. Our Leonardo's at Millhopper Quick Picks, the Friday Football Fix, and, of course, this, that, and the other. All that and more on a Duly Noted podcast.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
You can get your favorite alcoholic brands from ABC Fine Wine and Spirits delivered right to your door. ABC Delivers is available in Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, and all of the Southeast Florida. Earn ABC points for coupons and free bottles through abcdelivers.com. It's powered by FedEx Same Day City, and you're going to love the price. Free with a $50 purchase for the first 7 miles. So wine, spirits, beer, and everything you need to celebrate. Get it delivered. Shop abcdelivers.com. Thanks so much to our title sponsors, ABC Fine Wine and Spirits and Titan MRI, and to our pick sponsor, Leonardo's of Millhopper. You can find us live on Facebook and YouTube or listen at your leisure on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you find all your favorite podcasts. I'm excited to continue this podcast and to have your company on board as a sponsor. If you're interested in being part of the show, email me at patrickdooley54@gmail.com or give me a call, 352-317-3444. All right, welcome back to another Duly Noted podcast. And, of course, Robbie Andreu joining us here for the second part of the show. Robbie's appearances are brought to you by Dr. Lauren Cartwright from OcalaFamilyDentistry.com. We appreciate her so much and for being a sponsor of Robbie's segments. And I think it's time, Robbie, for 3 things. Of course, 3 things is presented by Hand Law, a Florida law firm which helps clients with government. You can learn more about Hand Law by visiting the website, www.hand.law. The firm is available for consultation in Jacksonville. 3 things presented by Hand Law. We'll start with number 1. The NFL releases scheduled today, and I'm like, whoop-de-doo. We knew all the games that they were going to play already.
It's pretty much the same every year, Pat, so there's no drama to it. But they tried to make it dramatic.
And then they leak it out. Yeah, they leaked it.
They leaked the openers out.
All right, yeah, I'm looking forward to Bucks-Cowboys on a Thursday night. But every other game that they put up there, I was like, I don't know how good these teams are going to be. Like they're saying, boy, here's a real duel that they're going to have late in the season in November. I'm like, they might be.
Who knows?
It might be a Repus Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, a Repus Bowl, for those of you who don't know, who were the Bucks playing that day? They were playing somebody, and they both had 0 or 1 win. They were both terrible, and so they said it was a Repus Bowl. It was a Super Bowl spelled backwards. So I covered that game, believe it or not. That's how old I am. So all right. There's all these games. Great. We knew already who everybody's playing.
Well, I mean, you look at the Jaguars' schedule. There's no surprise on there. There's no like ooh and ah moment. You knew who they're going to play. The only news, and it's only news in that community, is how many primetime games do you get? Because that kind of says something about your brand. Yeah. And I think Jacksonville got none, or they might have got 1. And teams like the Cowboys are going to get plenty of them, and I'll watch them because I like to root against the Cowboys. But here's one game I think it'll be interesting is the Bucks at New England. Yeah. That was kind of a little bit of a wow. But you knew they were playing. Yeah, you just didn't know when. Yeah. That's all they did was announce the dates. Yeah. I don't know. But that's the NFL. That's why it's the king. They can take something like releasing schedules you already know are coming. Make it an event. And make it an all-day event. Yeah. All right. Adam Schefter reporting the opening game. Actually, more than one day. It was like over several days. Unbelievable. With the leaks and all that. But I'm looking forward to this NFL season. We talked about this on the tailgate, Robbie, about how, with so many Gator players, I can't wait to see what Pitts does. I can't wait to see what Tony does. I can't wait to see what some of the guys that have gone through, is P. Ryan ready for a big year? Is Van Jefferson, who's made a lot of progress, Freddie Swain? These are guys that we've really enjoyed watching. So and you're talking about skilled position players on offense now that you look at. They didn't have a lot of those during the Will Muschamp era. No, they didn't. Marcus Robinson, I guess. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's turned out to be a good pro for sure. All right, that's number 1 on 3 things presented by Hand Law. Number 2, everybody wants to complain about Tim Tebow.
How about Blake Bortles getting another shot?
He's a backup quarterback now
with the
for
Packers.
the Patriots.
No, the Packers. Yeah, because that they're bringing in quarterbacks because this Aaron Rodgers thing just keeps accelerating, and apparently it's going to happen. But
they signed on a lot of potential interceptions with him. There's no doubt.
They did. It is. So they may have, in Love, a guy who's never played, and Blake Bortles who can't play, who throws a ton of interceptions, turns it over all the time. But nobody's complaining about him getting another shot. Come on.
You think Aaron Rodgers has ever invited Love over to his house for dinner or anything? Why does he doesn't like that guy, I think.
No, but Aaron Rodgers was treated that way by Brett Favre.
Yeah, that's true, he was.
So he's kind of looking at it like, this
guy's going to come take my place.
I don't think he's got a problem with Jordan Love. I think he's got a problem with the Packers. And that's why he wants to get away.
That he has no say in anything, and he's the best player on the team.
Why would you not get me help? Instead, you went and signed my replacement.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the greatest quarterbacks, and then he had MVP.
That is definitely stuck in his craw.
Yeah. So it appears that is definitely going to happen, that he's going to go somewhere. Where he goes will be really interesting, maybe Denver. It makes them interesting.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I just think this is going to be a really interesting NFL season. All right, and finally, I wanted to give a shout out for a game effort by Florida's women golfers. Man, we were kind of following that yesterday at the regionals, or on Wednesday in the regionals, and they came within one shot of making the getting through, and that's got to be tough. And they were making birdies left and right, trying to get in there. I don't think it would have mattered that much.
Yeah.
Stanford was 28 under. The next best team was 2 over.
That's amazing.
There's Stanford playing on their home course, of course. But congrats.
They did it without Tiger Woods, too.
I didn't have Tiger. But congrats to Emily and all the hard work that her young ladies put in. I know it's hard when we talk about the abruptness of a basketball season, but the abruptness of some of these other sports where you're playing and you're fighting and you're grinding, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, see ya.
Over, go home.
Yeah. You can take separate flights home if you want. It's okay. So that is 3 things presented by Hand Law. Let's go to the Leonardo's and Millhopper quick picks. And again, we've got a ton of qualifiers. You guys have done a much better job than you did the last week or the last segment. And we're going to make it really simple here. Florida, Georgia, who you got for the 3-game series? So just tell me who you think is going to win that series.
Georgia any good?
Well, I was going to tell you what Georgia's 11-13 in the SEC, but man, they knock off teams. They're a strange team. They're 10th in hitting in the SEC, 4th in pitching now.
See, pitching will keep you in every game.
Keeps you in the games. And I was looking at this stat. I was a little bit surprised about how bad this stat is. Florida, 54 errors this year. And
that's so unlike an O'Sully team.
And 32 double plays. So they may double the number of double plays by the number of errors.
Yeah.
That's not good.
That's not good. Not like an O'Sully team.
No. So.
What?
You're still the only person who calls him O'Sully.
Well, that's what it should be. His name is O'Sullivan.
Well, we call him Sully. All right,
O'Sully.
So Leonardo's and Millhopper Quick Picks. We appreciate Kyle, of course, and sponsor, as is Titan MRI of the Bob Dooley Invitational, which will be Saturday. And again, I want to encourage anybody who wants to come out there around 2:30. If you want to bid on some of the items, that's about when they'll be going. I mean, you're going to have to make a bid then. There are some amazing things out there.
That's one of the fun parts of the whole tournament weekend, Pat.
Yep.
Doing that.
I always like 2 days later, I find out like what everything went for, and I'm like, oh man, that went for that. That's a lot.
What's the biggest in the history of the tournament, do you think?
The biggest so far, I think the biggest this year will be the dinner with Spurrier.
Oh yeah,
and me
in his new restaurant.
And 8 other
You mean
people.
dinner with Spurrier?
That's right. I think I'm supposed to be the moderator. Coach, talk about the.
No, you'll come up with like an apron or whatever and take drink orders from other people.
That would be funny. Maybe I should.
You
do
put
that.
the napkin in Spurrier's lap.
I think it's going to break our record. Our record right now, I think, is 2,500 for the Tiger Woods signed flag from
Augusta,
the Masters.
Oh, wow.
The year he won the last one.
Oh wow!
And I think that is the record. So I think we'll go with
you
that.
could break it, no question.
I think we will, and I think the Billy Horschel is supposed to. We have a foursome at TBC, and Billy is going to get out there and try to get out there and play. A lot will depend on his schedule, but it's a foursome at TPC. That should go for a lot as well. We've got some unbelievable memorabilia as well. All right, it is time for the Friday football fix. And while we got Robbie here, we'll talk about this quickly. I'm trying to figure out the math on the portal, Robbie, and it's just with all this stuff that's transferring. And the SEC, what do you think they'll do? Do you think they'll allow you to transfer like this Henry To'oTo'o?
We know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
The Tennessee
guy. Technically, you're not supposed to do that within conference, so they don't have to make him eligible. But if you don't do that, guess what? He'll go to Ohio State. Yeah. So I think the SEC is going to just waive all the rules.
I think that's all going to get waived. The thing is, Pat, there's so many players in the portal that aren't going to have – there's no scholarship for them.
I know.
Where do you go?
That's what I'm saying, the math. And
it's a risk.
What I heard yesterday was people are going to quit signing JUCO kids.
Yeah.
Because – they've got to, we can get a high school kid and develop them, or we can get a guy who's ready-made.
A guy that's played college football and you've got film on him.
Yeah, and you got film on him, and maybe he's even played in within the conference, and you know a little bit about him. So
see, these are the guys you hear about. The others, the Midland guys that get in the portal and never come out.
Yeah, so it's going to be, again, that's where the math doesn't add up. If you've got to count transfers against your 25.
Yeah.
And so to do that, then are you going to, where are these how many high school kids are going to be sitting there going, wait a minute, my coach told me I would get a scholarship.
Yeah. I mean, now if
nobody wants me.
Now if you're not an elite prospect, maybe you're the opportunity in there to play. Maybe all these 3-star guys are going to be thinking, where do I go?
Which I don't think is what we should be looking at. We shouldn't be trying to get something like that to happen. So that's the Friday football fix. I'm very concerned. I'm not concerned about players' rights. I'm all for that. I'm all for allowing kids to transfer. I get that, but I just think that I don't think people have sat down and really thought of this through sometimes. All right. So, and finally, we are going to do your favorite, Robbie, this, that, and the other.
Always a favorite.
Brought to you by Ballyhoo Grill. They'll be out there on the course. In fact, we have golfers from every one of our sponsors for this. Ballyhoo Grill, Dar Shakow, John Dar Jr. is playing, I know that. And Ironwood, Jeff Cardozo is playing.
Yeah, so good.
That team.
Bill Reichart playing?
He is.
Good.
He's got a team put together. All right.
It'll be a good team, too, I bet.
Yeah, there will be a lot of good teams out there. There's some people that are stacking it. All right, so this, that, and the other. We'll start out with this. 10 days ago, very under-the-radar thing for people like me, Northwestern named a new AD, Mike Polisky, who had been a deputy AD there. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Northwestern names an AD.
Never heard of him. Yeah.
Never heard of him. That's this. That was, they reminded everybody, hey, he's got a lawsuit against him by a former cheerleader who said that all the people at Northwestern in there and the administration were trying to use the cheerleaders to be sexy for donors and demeaning them.
Not good.
So he's got this going. The other, he resigned yesterday.
That happened quick.
Yeah, so 10 days after taking the job, he's out of a job. And
so a guy on your own staff, you hadn't vetted him better than that?
That's the thing.
Name him the AD?
And I wonder about the vetting processes that go on. We've talked about all the time with different people, Urban with the strength coach. And like,
I know.
Do you not think anybody's going to pay attention? How about the one with South Carolina's president, Bob Caslin, who I don't even know who he is.
He's under the gun, though.
Well, he resigned, too.
Yeah.
Because he gave a speech at a commencement speech. Okay, you're the president of the school, at your school, commencement speech, where he plagiarized somebody who had been one of the people who killed bin Laden, plagiarized something he had said. And if that wasn't enough, during the speech, he talked about the University of California instead of the University of South Carolina.
What an idiot.
Boom. Booyah. They got rid of him.
How did he get in the position of being president?
I have no idea. It's crazy. All right, that's going to do it for another Duly Noted podcast. We appreciate all you for clicking on. Well, next time you see me, I'm going to be way more relaxed. The golf tournament will be over. We'll be back Monday. Scott Strickland is going to join us on Monday. Can't wait to talk to him. Got a lot of questions for him about some of the things we talked about, Rob.
Yeah.
Should be a lot of fun. Until next time, thanks to Evan as always. We'll be back on a Monday. Until then, I'm Pat Dooley. I'm deep way back, and I am out of here.